Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, and today we're going to be doing a Unity coding tutorial on how to make a inventory system. So, one thing that I've found over the years is that inventory systems are generally very easy to make, but they are always so expensive on the asset store. And in this small little however many part series, we're going to be making and developing a inventory system. All the assets are on itch.io, so the link will be in the description, and they're free, although donations are welcome. And also, I'll be when we finish this project, I'll be putting it onto itch.io as well, where you can download all the assets at once. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is you want to download the assets from itch.io and then import them into your project. So how you're going to do this is you're going to go on here, go over to where your files are located. It's going to grab them and drag them in. So I've put mine here. That's just called inventory tutorial for me. So I'm just going to drag it in. And straight away, you're going to be greeted with a few things. So we have the item. It's just a test item. Then we have slot. Then we have slot 2. Then we have the bin. And then we have opening. So we're going to grab all of these. Set the texture type to sprite, 2D, and UI. Next, we're going to set the pixels per unit to 512, and set the compression to none. So let's apply. So now, as you can see, they look a lot nicer. I'm also on 2D mode, so we can start creating the canvas. So on this one, which is going to be used as our background, we're going to go into the sprite editor. Oh, so we need to download the sprite editor package. So let's just go here, panels, where is it? Package manager, let's drag it up here, dock it. It's going to fetch the packages, and then we'll be able to download them. Okay, so once your package manager has loaded, we're going to go to packages, and we're going to sort in Unity registry. So we're going to bring up all of these, and we're just going to bring up 2D sprite, and we're going to install that. Obviously, if you're using this in a 2D scene, it will already have this in it. So this is only for the people who are making inventories in 3D. That's a little bit of a important thing. Okay, you don't need to import anything else unless obviously using PSD files or anything for your inventory slots. Cool, so now it's in here. So now if we go under the slot, we're going to open up it in the sprite editor, and we're going to set all the margins to about 100. And what this is going to be is it's going to be our base for our, not 1,000, for our background of some of our slots and that kind of stuff. So let's apply it, go out, and okay, so what we're now going to do is we're going to go game object. Oh, we can just create it in here. We're going to create a UI, and we're going to create a canvas. So the canvas is going to hold everything for our inventory, literally everything. If you wonder why it's such a weird shape, it's because it's the size of this Unity editor. Okay, so under the canvas now, we're going to create a panel, and we're going to call this inventory panel. So, So in this tutorial, we will be setting up the UI for the inventory, whereas in later videos, we'll be setting up the general inventory, the coding of it. Yep. Okay, so instead of stretch, we're going to set it to the middle, and we're going to set the transform back to 0. So now we have just an inventory in the middle. Obviously, you can change this to be on the side or wherever you want it to be. You can just change these and then reset it. Okay, so on here, as you can see, it's a disgusting looking background. No one wants this. So let's drag in the slot 2, and as you can see, seeing as we set the margins, it's going to already look like this. But I sort of want it to be completely non-opaque. So let's set, is that the right word? I think it is. So here we go, let's set it to that. And straight away, as you can see, in this, if we click play, it's going to open, but it's going to be quite small. Like, in the Unity editor, it was this big. So obviously, why is it like this? So what you actually need to do is go to the canvas scaler component on your canvas, set it to scale with screen size. And this is just leave it at 0, and as soon as you open it, start it again, is going to be bigger, a lot bigger. It's because it's scaling with how big the aspect ratio is of your screen, or your resolution. Let's just quickly save. Now under the inventory panel, we're going to need two more things. So we're going to need another panel, and we'll call this one name. And we'll drag this upwards to about 270 maybe, or 260. 260 seems good. Alright, and the top we'll just keep 0. Put another slot in to make it like that, and let's drag it down a little bit, and we'll overlap it with that one. And this will be the name. So let's give it a UI, and we'll give it a text, and we'll call this name text. Okay. So we're going to reset the transform on this, and we're going to set this to white, so you can see it. And it's quite blurry. This is another really good technique. You can set the font size to something like 72. Scale this down, and then you can grab the corners, make it bigger. And as you can see, the text comes out nice and just good. And we'll just call this inventory. For now, just keep it basic. That's sort of clipping on that, so I'm actually going to move it a little bit. Maybe put down the font size to something like 70. Cool, so now we have that. Okay, so the next thing is creating the slots for the inventory. And then we'll start just doing a little bit of coding. So let's grab another panel, and we'll call this one slots. Alright, so under the slots, let's just drag this to there, and we're going to set that to completely opaque so we can't see it, because it looks disgusting. Okay, under the slots, we're going to make a image, so UI image, and we'll call this one slot. Now under this, we're going to drag the normal basic slot icon on there, so now we have a basic slot. We're also going to add a button component to this. Oop, what happened there? Button. There we go. And we're not going to do anything with the button yet. And then we're going to drag this back into the... back into here. And I'm going to make it a prefab. So under the slots now, we're going to get a grid layout group. This is going to lay out all our slots into a very nice arranged order. As you can see, it's quite big. So let's put this down to maybe 50. 50 by 50. Oh, that's padding. Clumsy. And let's copy and paste this slot. Upload in here. And it's a little bit messy. So let's this is what the padding's for, so we can put it away from the left, maybe 10 or 15. We want to keep it try keep it equal. And yeah, so there we go. Here is a basic amount of inventory slots. So we have, how many is that? We have 20 slots. So that's 4 by 5 spaces. And so let's save, and let's have a look at it in the Unity game inspector. So as you can see, we can click on these slots, but they're not going to do anything. It's not really going to do anything at all, really. But this is very basic. You can expand this to however big you want. You can probably put a scroller down on the side. We'll probably do that in a later video in this little series. But yes, as I say, we're going to be developing a whole inventory, fixing up some of this UI, making it a little bit better. We're all going to learn something. We're probably going to learn something a little bit more. You guys are going to learn something. We're going to have fun. Okay, so the next thing we need, under the name, we're going to add a UI image, and we'll call this exit button. Let's set this to the left, sorry, the right. And let's drag it over here, and we'll put in the bin cross. Let's also add a button component to this. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take it, and if we click the exit button, it's going to grab the inventory panel object, and it's going to set the game object bool to false. So if we save it and run the game, you can also control save. We can just exit out of the inventory. But now we don't have a way to get back in, so it's really easy. All we're going to do, put it in, we'll call this open inventory btn. Gonna drag in I don't know why I put bag. I didn't want to put inventory there. And we'll set it to 50 and -50 to be on top. And set it to 50/50. Make it like that. Let's also get a button component. There's a lot of button components in this. Let's get an inventory panel, and we're gonna go game object, set ball, active. Cool. So if we save again, go into the game view. That's gonna open it. We can close it, open it, close it. Cool. This will obviously have animation later. We can put it down to the side of the screen or something like that. But for now, just keep it basic. It's gonna be that. Okay, so the next thing we need to do, now that we have all of this set up, we need to add a few scripts. So let's go here and script. Under the scripts, we're going to create a new one, and we're going to call this inventory manager. And let's go on to it. And we're going to select these and just delete them. Alright, so let's make a few variables, right? So we're going to make a public, and we're going to call this game objects. And we'll call this slots. But we're actually going to make this a list so we can get a public, like an amount of slots. And we're going to just have on each slot, we're going to have a script that's going to put it into this list. Okay, so let's also grab a public bool list, and we'll call it is full. So this is just going to say whether or not the slots that we're going to get are full, and if not, we're not going to put the item in them, otherwise we are. This is when we get into later coding. Okay, so it's just going to do this. Oh, everything's good. We're also going to make a slot component. Go into the slot. We're going to make a... We're actually going to use the void start, so... We're going to make a private inventory manager, and we'll call it manager. And then under start, we're going to go manager is equal to game object, and that's actually with a uppercase G. Game object dot find game object with tag, and we'll call it manager. And then we're going to go dot get component, and we're going to get inventory manager. Okay, so if we put this on our slots prefab, I am actually in a beta version of Unity, so if some things look different, that's probably why. I'm in 2020.2.OB13.3614. Okay. So if we go under the slot prefab now in our inventory, we're going to add the slot button component to it. Well, not sorry, the slot script. And if you can remember, our slot's just going to get manager. So let's also make a tag. So let's make a game object first, and we'll call this actually call this player, because yep. And then under the player we'll have inventory manager tag, and we're going to call this tag the custom tag, and we're going to call it manager. So let's save. Let's put it onto our player inventory manager, and then under our player we're actually going to call the player just in case we need it later. Obviously, this won't usually be an empty. You'll have an actual character here, which we'll be adding on a later video, probably 3 or 4, the part 3 or 4. Okay, so if we go onto the canvas now and look at all of our slots, they're also going to have the slot script. So let's have a look. So if we go onto here, we run it, and we look at these. Let's go into debug mode. Debug mode is going to show you everything. Manager none. So it's not actually finding the inventory manager, and that is because we haven't put it on. That means manager. Let's add it. Okay, script slots. And the next thing we're going to be doing is adding each slot onto it. Cool. We go into a slot now. Debug mode. And it found the inventory manager. So now we now have them finding the inventory manager. Now we just need them adding them onto it. So all we need to do in the inventory manager is set a number of slots. So we have 20 slots, and 20 is fulls because for each slot there's an is full. Now on the slot we're also going to give it an ID. So we're going to go a private int, and we'll call it ID. So each slot's going to have an ID, and that will dedicate what is full is this for. Okay, so now we can go in start. We can make a public int, and we'll call it number of slots. We'll save that quickly, and then we'll go in the start. We're gonna go ID or inventory manager or manager dot slots. Is it slots or slot? Slots of the ID is equal to game object. Cool. So now we're adding our game object, but we're also going to go ID is equal to manager dot slots. Manager dot number of slots. That's it. Cool. Let's go here. So number of slots, and we have So if we go here, and then we're also gonna have to add. So we're gonna go manager dot number of slots plus equals to 1. Okay, that should, in theory, work. Inventory is spent. Slots. Oh, let's start with a capital. Favorite. Cool. This hopefully should work now. Cool. So we have a number of slots here. Let's quickly see if this works. We don't go into maximize anymore. So we have 20 slots. This one has ID of 14, 17. Oh well, so they're all random. Oh right, didn't realize that. Cool. Well, it really doesn't matter because it's okay. Alright, that's fine. Each one has their own unique ID. Okay, that's kind of what we need. That's fine. So here we go. So we can go now in an update function. So we'll just make an update. We go if game object, or actually instead we'll go transform child count, and we'll set that child count is less than more than 1. Then we can go manager dot is full of the ID is equal to true. Is more than 0. We're going to set it to true. Else, we're going to set it to manager dot is full of ID is equal to false. So here we go. Child count, that has to be lowercase. Okay, here we go. Disclaimer, I'm not the best at coding. Still know how to do it, but yep. Okay, so here we go. We have this. So let's test this out by making the item. So under the canvas on one of the slots, we're going to add a image, and we'll call this item. Wow, that's big. So let's put it out of debug mode. Let's unlock it. Yep, that's big. So we're going to set it to 50 by 50 maybe. Drag the item in there. Cool. Okay, that's an item. And let's also drag this here. So let's see whether or not this is going to... Yeah, okay, so that has that there. That slot. As a... Wait, what? Oh yeah, wait, that slot has an ID of 4. So under the inventory manager here, under is full of 4, we have hit it's full. So it's not going to then mess with us anymore. So it's not going to, when we set it up later, it's going to be that this one we cannot put anything into. Cool. So let's save it, and I think that is actually the end of this video. We've got everything set up. I thank you guys for watching. It's been a little bit of a mess, but I hope you guys have learned something. I'll be recording and uploading the next video very soon, so you guys don't have to worry. But yeah, hope you guys have had fun. And on next time, we'll be learning of picking up and putting down the object in each different slot, and then sorting it. So then we can't put down an object into a slot that already has something in it. And then the video, part 3, will be crafting. Part 4 will be actually picking it up in 3D. Okay, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya.